Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you to today's online presentation, Siegel Rogers Casey's 2014 Investment Outlook, Never Neverland. Now I'd like to introduce you to our speakers. We have Tim Barron, Senior Vice President and Chief Investment Officer, and John Ross, Senior Vice President, Head of Beta Research. With that, I will turn things over to Tim to begin today's presentation.
Great. Thank you very much, Kate. And thank you all for being on the phone with us this morning. Yeah, John and I are going to cover a number of things. We're going to have me start with the kind of the global summary that we usually do, and then he'll drill down into individual markets and asset classes. So with that, I have to put up the disclaimer. Everybody read that real fast. Thank you. So let me turn to tab 4, slide 4. We usually look at this as a series of positives and negatives in the market, offsetting most things that are going on favorably. There are often issues or concerns that we have and others that we like to point out. But rather than going through each of these today, I thought we'd highlight some of the key ones and look at some graphs and actually update a few of these for you. So starting on slide 5 here in the U.S. economy, if you look at the graph in the top left, it's focused on CPI. And so we know that, after a lot of inflation at times in the past, post-GFC, inflation has, for the most part, remained quite muted. If we roll this forward a bit, it's been updated to numbers through February 14th, the year-over-year change in the CPI at 1.1%. So inflation still quite low. Frankly, as someone who uses natural gas to heat his home, inflation hasn't felt that low this winter, as prices have obviously skyrocketed, and up here in the Northeast, we had to manage through polar vortexes. Turning to the unemployment and non-farm payrolls, which is the top right, we see that unemployment continues to improve. The picture continues to improve. Slightly positive improvement as well in January and February, but really mostly a little down in January, a little up in February. A lot of folks, again, have thought that that's largely related to weather. I will note that there was positive move in the overall non-farm payrolls during that period of time. And moving down to the lower left, another picture of job openings and unemployment. Really, as I said, no real change this year. But I think it's important to note that embedded in these numbers, there are about 6 million people who've told the Bureau of Labor Statistics that they currently are not employed, but they very much would like to be employed. So, in total, regardless of how we look at it, that's a pretty darn big number. Turning to the lower right, consumer sentiment. This has been bouncy, but it's been up and down for a long time. People feel good. They don't feel as well. As a matter of fact, after increasing in the latter part of 2013, the preliminary numbers through March 14th from the Thomson Reuters study show a number of 79.9, which is down slightly. So consumer sentiment, while trending positively since the GFC, continues to bounce around quite a bit. Turning to the next slide, one of the very important pictures here in the top left-hand corner are valuations. This is the cyclically adjusted PEs, a 10-year look. And I think the important thing to note here is within the usual range, currently at a level of 25.53, that puts us at the highest point really since the pre-GFC period and the period just before the Great Crash and the Great Depression. So no question, certainly by this measure, U.S. equity market valuations are pretty darn high.